Before we get to Tesla, Donald Trump just said this about Elon Musk.
I'm wondering, do you miss having him around the White House, or is that poll accurate?
I don't know if the poll's accurate. I think he's a good person. I think he had a bad moment, really bad moment, but he's a good person. I believe that.
Talk about an olive branch and not holding a grudge. Meanwhile, FSD continues to progress at lightning pace. This from Elon Musk today. Tesla is training a new FSD model with around 10 times the parameters and a big improvement to video compression loss. Probably ready for public release end of next month if testing goes well. Now, some of you might be wondering, WTF, 10 times the parameters, what does that even mean? Grok to the rescue. Explained to Dirty Tesla like they're a hamster. Imagine you're a hamster navigating a maze for treats. With 10 times more brain bits, aka parameters, in Tesla's FSD model, it learns way better, spots tricky paths, like a rare road scenario, faster, avoids bumps, smoother driving, and gets you to the cheese destination with fewer wrong turns. Big win for safety and reliability. In short, more parameters equals bigger fucking brain equals better capabilities. Pretty simple stuff. While we're on the subject of numbers and Tesla and autonomy, Mr. Breaking News himself, also known as the psychopath who uses X on light mode. By the way, I'm not even kidding. I think this is a legit one question psycho test. If you don't use dark mode on X, what the fuck? Anyway, trolling Sawyer aside, Elon Musk posting this. We are working as quickly as possible to get 100 plus Teslas operating for autonomous ride hailing. And then he notes in parentheses, the Tesla's not allowed to use the word taxi or cab in California in the Bay Area and allow anyone to request a ride. Now, 100 vehicles may not seem like a lot, but Waymo's entire existing quote-unquote global fleet of vehicles is, call it, around 1,500. That's it. Given the insanely high utilization rates, a fleet of a mere 100 or so vehicles will do a lot of heavy lifting. I just quickly wanted to shift gears, pun possibly intended, and share this regarding Honda. Quarterly profit halves as US auto tariffs bite, allegedly. So, Honda, a legacy automotive company, are totally fine. There's nothing to see here. In fact, all legacy automotive companies are going to be totally fine, especially those who today aren't producing EVs profitably at scale and haven't already essentially solved autonomy. Nothing to see here, I swear. P.S. It must be Elon's fault. Maybe Honda should just run more ads and not have an executive out there sharing his strongly held beliefs and opinions about things and destroying the brand. While we're on the subject of companies that are totally fine, there's nothing to see here, and I'm totally not being sarcastic, here's the Uber CEO on Tesla.
It's an experiment. They're early days. Tesla in Austin, you obviously have your own data. You're seeing them as a potential competitor, maybe as a partner in the future. I don't know how you think about them these days.
Oh, I think it could be a competitor, could be a partner. And you know, when you're talking about trillion-dollar TAMs, there will be no winner take all in this marketplace. It's great to see Tesla in the market. They're taking their time and they are making sure that they're expanding in a safe way. We've always believed that the potential in self-driving is for these cars to be superhuman in terms of safety. And I think that's a welcome thing, whether it's a Waymo or it's a Tesla or it's a Wave. All of this competition in autonomous is going to create safer streets, and we're going to be a big part of that.
Cope harder. So I have a question. Who took all the profits relating to online search? That would be Google. E-commerce, that would be Amazon. Smartphone sales, that would be Apple. Now, before anybody says,
Excuse me, well, actually, technically, there are other search engines that make some advertising revenue, and other e-commerce also makes some money, and also smartphone sales. Therefore, that's not when they didn't take all the profits.
thank you for explaining why you are still a virgin. Here are the facts. There are some opportunities out there where if you have a superior product and a massive cost advantage and reach scale first, you win. You take the lion's share of the profits. That's how this plays out in terms of autonomy. As I have said trillions of times in previous videos, Tesla has a massive cost advantage for hardware, aka the vehicle. And mass manufacturing compelling, affordable, autonomous vehicles is a very big challenge. You're literally moving atoms around. Logistics, the supply chain, never mind the innovations in terms of manufacturing. There's a reason Elon Musk describes the factory, the machine that builds a machine, as a real product. And it's very important. If everything else is equal, if the capabilities of the software is equivalent, but company A, Tesla, can offer their service at a meaningfully lower cost per mile to customers because they can put hardware on roads for a meaningfully lower cost than anyone else. There's no overcoming that as a competitor unless you can somehow magically press the catch up to Tesla button and match their mass manufacturing capabilities at scale. Ain't gonna happen. A company can certainly subsidize their cost per mile and sustain massive losses trying to compete with Tesla on cost per mile, but that doesn't solve the problem of them being unable to put hardware on roads at a comparable cost. Still boggles the mind that people don't seem to understand this. I've yet to see a single skeptic on Tesla Autonomy taking the lion's share of the profits explain to me how today, when the list of companies profitably producing electric vehicles at scale has one name on it, Tesla, one name on it, years, probably a decade and a half actually, after it became inevitable that EVs were the future, one of these people has explained to me how, when today's list of companies producing EVs profitably at scale is one company, how Tesla's alleged competition when it comes to autonomy, like Waymo, are going to change that list. Waymo doesn't even make vehicles. But I guess the theory is, well, if Waymo just pokes and prods the manufacturer of the Jaguars that they're using on their service, pokes them hard enough, hey, make your products cheaper so we can buy them cheaper, please. Please make them as affordably as Tesla's vehicles, please. That Jaguar can just magically press the okay, we'll manufacture our vehicles for 10 or 15% the cost that they are today, so you can compete with Tesla on cost per mile. That's not how it works. There is no magic button. And as I've also explained in the past, it's not just the cost of the hardware. Tesla already has massive scale. I'm not going to go over this whole thing again. Sorry for the new viewers of the channel, but the level of delusion here is just truly unbelievable. It seems like such a simple thing, right? Imagine, here's a hypothetical. Imagine an internet provider appears out of nowhere who can offer essentially identical service to every other internet provider, yet all of their plans are approximately half the cost of everyone else. Think about it. Imagine a grocery store appeared offering products for roughly half the cost of everybody else. A utility, gas, electricity provider, same service, half the cost. Do you think these products, services, offered for roughly half the cost may attract some customers? May have an advantage? Obviously. But then the argument would be, well, could everyone else in the industry suddenly halve their cost to offer the service? And in the case of autonomous vehicles, the answer to this question is no. And how retarded does one need to be to look at today's existing landscape of vehicles, and then look at the list of companies making electric vehicles profitably and see a single name on it and not be able to join the dots? I guess while we're talking about Tesla's so-called autonomous competition, another post from Sawyer Merritt. Motor Trend has released some up-close photos of Waymo's 6th generation Robotaxi hardware, which is used on an all-electric RT van from Chinese EV company Zeekr. The 6th gen hardware includes 13 cameras, 4 LiDAR, 6 radar, and I think he forgot to mention how many gaydar it also has. By the way, more sensors is the opposite of a flex. Now, as somebody with a very bad haircut, at least I know it's a bad haircut, I'm not really in a position to mock and ridicule the appearance of a Waymo vehicle, but I am going to. If this vehicle were a person, it would absolutely be a full-time Reddit mod. Anti-Riz. God damn, this is so butt-ass ugly and awkward. Now, if it weren't possible to drive autonomously and look cool doing so, I wouldn't be so hard on Waymo. But we know today that this right here, Tesla's new Model Y, is currently driving passengers around autonomously in Austin, Texas. Looks aren't everything, but what we see here versus this is called a skill issue. Truly, an abomination. Do you think Waymo wants their products to look this embarrassing, awkward, and forever alone? I doubt it. Just really take a moment. This versus this. This versus this. Uber's CEO also had additional thoughts on autonomy. Quote, "We actually think the harder part of commercialization is going to be hardware, aka this versus this." He continues, "Bringing on hardware platforms and hardware partners that can build these platforms at scale, keyword here, affordably." So let's again refer to that list of companies today profitably producing EVs at scale, because affordably equals profitably. And how many companies on that list? Wait, I forgot. Oh, hang on. 1, Tesla. Motherfuckers. He continues, "Because today at least, autonomous vehicles that are able to be deployed at scale are pretty expensive." And he ain't wrong. Excluding Tesla from the mix, he ain't wrong. Wait, what's this? A post from Gary Black. I guess we're moving on to a different topic, right? Quote, "It's crazy that I'm getting the same criticism and disbelief I got in 2021 to 2023 when I predicted others would catch up with Tesla's EV battery range and charging speed and be able to offer high-quality EVs at a comparable price." Oh boy, this is awkward. He's doubling down. "Back then, Tesla bulls proclaimed loudly and often how wrong I was, with equal vitriol, because everyone else in the auto industry would go bankrupt. By the way, they will. Takes a long time for a Titanic to sink. And so would have to scale back their EV investments. Tesla bulls were clearly wrong about everyone else going bankrupt and scaling back their investments. By the way, they are all going bankrupt. Within 10 years, let's revisit this claim. With unsupervised autonomy, Tesla bulls are missing that as Uber removes the drivers from vehicles to achieve unsupervised autonomy at 99.99% efficacy and leverages the AI capabilities of its autonomous partners, Uber's cost per mile will be the same as Tesla and Waymo. Oh boy. It's clear that unsupervised autonomy will become a commodity with huge first movers advantages. As Uber's CEO opined this morning on Uber's earnings call, quote, "This is a very, very big market. There will be no winner take all." Oh, shit. Oh, boy. Can somebody send Gary the list of companies profitably producing electric vehicles at scale today and then maybe explain how that's important? Because as the Uber CEO also said today, the autonomous vehicles that are currently being deployed at scale are pretty expensive. I don't know too hard on Gary. I mean, I appreciate his perspective. It's quite telling. But this is an own goal, not a win. To suggest that when he predicted others would catch up to Tesla with battery range and charging speed and be able to offer high quality EVs at a comparable price, that still hasn't happened. Now, let me be clear. There are companies today offering electric vehicles to consumers with comparable range and comparable charging speeds at comparable price to Tesla. But here's the key word. They are not able to do this. They are doing this, but not sustainably because they're losing money doing so. Now, surely Gary, as an investor, understands this, right? This would be like a forever alone basement-dwelling adult virgin claiming he's able to seduce any woman he wants because he can go hire a prostitute. It doesn't count, brother. If the companies today trying to compete with Tesla's electric vehicles with comparable range and charging speed at a comparable price are losing money per vehicle sold, they're not able to do this because the continuation of this results in increasing losses and eventual bankruptcy. Now, it's possible eventually, maybe, they can magically catch up and be producing comparable vehicles with comparable range, specs, etc. for a comparable price and making a comparable profit per vehicle sold. But today, the list of companies making electric vehicles at scale profitably is still Tesla. And by the way, this is not to discredit especially what a lot of Chinese EV manufacturers are doing. Some very compelling products at very affordable prices, some of them half the cost of a Tesla, a third the cost of a Tesla, although still losing some money doing so. But like for like, Tesla remains unmatched. I remind you guys of the data we looked at recently. Top selling cars in Beijing in the first half of 2025. Tesla Model Y towering over all of the so-called competition and actually making a profit doing so. Now, I don't want to be too hard on Gary here, but I do just want to define the word able to really explain the own goal that Gary has posted here, suggesting that he was correct when claiming back in 2021 to 2023 that other companies would catch up with Tesla's EV battery range and charging speed and be able to offer high-quality EVs at comparable price. Able. Having the power, skill, means, or opportunity to do so. The key word in this case is means. If you as a business are losing money achieving an outcome, you do not have the means to do that. All we need to do is look out into the future. If you continue to lose money doing something, you do not have a sustainable business model. Hence, you do not have the means to do that. You can certainly offer it, but if doing something leads to bankruptcy, by the way, again, which will take some time, you are not able to do that. This actually matters. So here's my final word. I believe that no company on the planet will be able to offer a comparable cost per mile for a comparable service to Tesla as Tesla achieves massive scale with their fleet of robotaxis. There will be companies, including Waymo, sucking from the teat of Alphabet, aka Google, that limp along losing money trying to compete with Tesla for many years, maybe a decade plus before they pull the plug. So too, many other companies who are willing to sustain massive losses trying to offer a comparable product at a comparable service to Tesla, but because they can't compete with Tesla on hardware costs, let alone scale, and of course many of them having to partner with 600,000 other entities and companies to get this up and running, they don't have a sustainable business model and they ain't going to make it. There will be, by the way, just a quick caveat, there will be some companies that continue to carve out a very small niche. I don't know exactly what it'll be yet, but if you can somehow convince your customers that you have a giga premium, ultra high-end, super deluxe autonomous service, you might carve out a fraction of a percent of the entire rideshare market in some regions. With extremely high pricing, you can actually make it a profit on. But the big picture is simple. Tesla is going to win autonomy, aka take the lion's share of the profits. And I personally expect a post from Gary in 5 years' time when there's other companies still losing money trying to compete with Tesla on cost per mile for Robotaxi, who'll be explaining how he was right in 2025 when he said all these other companies would be offering autonomy just like Tesla, and I'll be pointing out that, yeah, but none of them are making money and they're all headed for inevitable bankruptcy, so it doesn't count, does it? Shit. But of course, hey, what would I know? I don't even wear a suit. I'm just some idiot on the internet. I'm obviously wrong. God damn. Want more content? Early access? A bunch of perks? Click the links in the pinned comment. AG1 is awesome. I've been taking it daily now for more than 3 years. It's a great way to fill in nutritional gaps. It's packed full of vitamins, minerals, and whole food source nutrients, plus has prebiotics, probiotics, and adaptogens to improve gut health, regularity, and help your body handle stress. I'm always looking for an edge to help me feel and perform my best, which is why I haven't missed a day of AG1 for more than 3 years. Just try it and see how you feel. Click the link in the pinned comment or head to drinkag1.com/SMR and get yourself a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3 plus K2 and 5 travel packs.